What did Zelensky tell you?
Sorry?
What did Zelensky tell you?
About what? About what? About what?
How? Did he tell you anything as to whether he can talk with Putin, not talk with Putin? Is there a possibility?
Now look, what Zelensky told us stays between Zelensky and us. Zelensky told us stays between Zelensky and us. So here's a very, very simple point. Today we are the 5th largest economy. Let's say end of the decade, maybe we'd be 3rd. You cannot have the same contribution to global welfare as number 3 in the world, which you had when you were number 11 or 12 in the world. It's a very simple proposition. I mean, our stakes in the world are higher. Our capabilities are greater. The expectations of the world are different. And our interests are there. Now, often they merge. I mean, it's not either or, if you look today at the Middle East, we sent a lot of ships to the Arabian Sea when those attacks were happening. In fact, at one point, I think after the United States, we were probably the biggest deployment out there. Now, I put it to you, look, our trade was at stake. But the region's trade was at stake as well. And somebody had to step forward and help with the stabilization. So the idea that, there are bigger powers out there or, the problem's going to be taken care of and I don't need to worry about it, I think that era is over. One part of it is we've become bigger. The other is others, those on whom the world historically relied on, particularly the United States, I think they are also much more stretched today. So we have to be realistic about what, let us say, we could expect from others in such a situation. I often compare it, to the tsunami. In 2004, when we had the tsunami in the Indian Ocean, a very large part of the response actually came from outside the Indian Ocean. It was led by the US, but you had Europe and you had Japan, you had Australia. We were there very prominently. Today, God forbid, something like that happens. I think the responses will largely be out of the region itself, because I'm not sure the others have the capability and the inclination to do what they did 20, 30 years ago. So I do think, as part when we speak about, let us say, the rise of India, we must have a parallel conversation. We must grow our capabilities, but side by side, if we are getting so much out of the world, we must also have a conversation side by side. What are we doing for the world and with the world?
I think we all are running out of time, but just this thing about how are you de-risking yourself from the US president?
No, I have no risks.
Do business with anyone. And absolutely the last question. What did Zelensky tell you?
Sorry?
What did Zelensky tell you?
About what?
How? Did he tell you anything as to whether he can talk with Putin, not talk with Putin? Is there a possibility?
Now look, what Zelensky told us stays between Zelensky and us.